World Trade Organization, Doha Round. The Agricultural Negotiations. World Trade Organization, or the so-called Doha Round, or the Doha Development Agenda. The initial focus is on the implications of the suspension of Doha negotiations in July 2006 for the future trade negotiations and the next U.S. Farm Bill. The report discusses current efforts to revive the suspended negotiations, the reasons for the July 2006 suspension of negotiations, and the agreements reached at the December 13 to 18, 2005 Hong Kong Ministerial Meeting.
Current status of Doha Round agricultural negotiations. Numerous meetings between leading member countries of the World Trade Organization have been taking place since the July 2006 suspension of formal negotiations. The pace of efforts to revive the Doha Development Agenda multilateral trade negotiations has quickened as the expiration of Fast-Track or Trade Promotion Authority for congressional consideration of the trade agreement approaches.
The July 2006 suspension of Doha Round negotiations. On July 24, 2006, the Director General of the WTO, Pascal Lamy, announced an indefinite suspension of further negotiations in the Doha Round. The principal cause of the suspension was that a core group of WTO member countries, the United States, the European Union, Brazil, India, Australia, and Japan, known as the G6, had reached an impasse over specific methods to achieve the broad aims of the round for agricultural trade, substantial reductions in trade distorting domestic subsidies, elimination of export subsidies, and substantially increased market access for agricultural products.
The Hong Kong Ministerial Declaration. On December 18, 2005 in Hong Kong, WTO member countries reached agreement on a broad outline of negotiating objectives for liberalizing global trade in agriculture, manufacturers, and services in Doha Round of multilateral trade negotiations. The Hong Kong Agreement set new deadlines of completing the Doha Round in 2006. July 2006 announcement that the negotiation has been suspended indefinitely. Hong Kong Agreement modalities for cutting tariffs on agricultural products, eliminating export subsidies, and cutting trade distorting domestic support would be agreed to by April 30, 2006. Incremental progress on agriculture in the Hong Kong Declaration, adopted on December 18, 2005, deals with all three pillars of the agricultural negotiations: export competition, domestic support, and market access. Most progress was made in negotiations on the export competition pillar with an agreement on a specific end date for the elimination of export subsidies, but difficult negotiations remain on establishing new disciplines for other forms of export competition. Export competition. The most concrete outcome of the Hong Kong Ministerial was an agreement to eliminate agricultural export subsidies by the end of 2013.
Domestic support. On the trade distorting domestic support, WTO members agreed to 3 bands for reductions, with the percentage for reducing support in each band to be decided during the modalities negotiations. Market taxes. The HK Declaration calls for 4 bands for restructuring tariff cuts, with the relevant band thresholds and within band reduction percentage to be worked out during modalities negotiations. Cotton. On cotton, the HK Declaration affirms the commitment to ensure an explicit decision on cotton within the agricultural negotiations and through the Subcommittee on Cotton expeditiously and specifically.
Agriculture, NAMA, and LDCs. There are 2 provisions in the HK Declaration touch on agriculture. One is the provision in Declaration calling for balance between agriculture and non-agriculture market access modalities. The HK Declaration recognizes it is important to advise the development objectives of the round through enhanced market access for developing countries in both agricultural and
Agricultural negotiating developments preceding the Hong Kong Ministerial. On October 10, 2005, the United States offered a detailed proposal with specific modalities for the adoption of new discipline on the three major agricultural reform pillars.
Comparison of major agricultural negotiating proposals. The four major DDA negotiating proposals for agricultural modalities are from the United States, EU, G20, and the G10. Each proposal varies in terms of its degree of specificity for each of the three negotiating pillars.
The EU proposal from France and 12 other EU countries, but not a qualified majority, not to improve its offer. The EU made a new market access proposal on October 27 and provide additional detail on its proposal for domestic support, export competition, and geographical indications. A major criticism of EU agricultural proposal is that its market access offer does not provide an investment for developing countries like Brazil, Thailand, and other G20 members.
The G20 proposal. The G20 proposal on market access reflects difference between Brazil, an agricultural exporter, and India, an agricultural exporter. The G10 proposal. The G10 proposal is a group of mainly developed agricultural importing countries led by Japan, Norway, and Switzerland.
The G33 proposal for special products. The G33 is an alliance of 42 developing countries, including larger countries like China and India, but also less developed countries like Benin and Zambia.
The cotton issue. Background. Hong Kong Ministerial was so-called African Cotton Initiative for least developed African countries, Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali. September 2003, not specifically mentioned in the Doha round negotiating mandate, cotton was identified as a key to a success conclusion of the Doha round following the Cancun Ministerial. July 2004, a preliminary agreement on the framework for the Doha round negotiations also recognized the importance of cotton for certain developing countries and stated that cotton will be addressed ambitiously, expeditiously, and specifically within the agriculture negotiation.
Export competition. WTO members are permitted to use export subsidies as listed in the country schedule. Only 24 countries have actually used export subsidies. Most countries with provisional export subsidies have used themselves freely. During the 1995 to 2001 period for the WTO negotiation, data are available. The EU accounted for nearly 90% for all export subsidies used by the WTO members. Domestic support. Only 35 out of 149 members have notified use the trade-destroying domestic subsidies in the country's schedule. During the 1995 to 2001 period for which notification data are available, first is the EU, second is the United States, and the third is the Japan, accounted for the 91% of all domestic subsidies used by WTO members. Market access. All countries have market access barriers. Only some have export subsidies or AMPER, or blue box domestic support. Therefore, the range of the interest in the market access reform complex of providing more difficult to achieve.